This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good day, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith, and in your headlines today, according to a World Bank report, shortage of experts hindering Guyana's capacity to monitor, audit and regulate oil companies. Over 1,000 families in limbo as fishing industry faces collapse. Upper Quarantine fishermen worry about Suriname's licensing requirements. Norton finally elected leader of opposition. Valda Lawrence replaces Nicolette Henry as coalition fills vacant seat. Civil society can play a big role in helping government verify Exxon expenses, according to an Oxfam report. 19-year-old teacher stabbed to death by boyfriend, and AG Anil Nandlal says Constitutional Reform Committee ready to proceed with work. Stay tuned to stay informed.
Nothing in life is free, but the MyDigiCell app is. You don't need to be on a data plan to use the app. You can conveniently chat with Ruby or an agent for help. Check your account balance, activate a Prime bundle, or gift it to a friend. Send credit. Check the Georgetown and Burpees Bridge schedules. Activate a roaming plan. Play Shake to Win for cool prizes. So don't worry about a data plan, buddy. Download the MyDigiCell app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store today. Digicel, better together.
Celebrate Easter with Digicel. Enjoy up to 50% discounts on selected smartphones in the month of April. Plus, get a free 30-day Prime bundle included with your purchase. Get the DL3 Pro for only $9,750 or the Samsung A035 with a free case and screen protector for just $32,000. Plus, enjoy a free 30-day Prime bundle with the best premium content on the go. Offer good while stocks last. Visit a Digicel store today. For even more details and discounts and amazing Easter gifts, make sure to check out the MyDigiCel app. Happy phone shopping and happy Easter from Digicel. Better together.
And now for the news in detail. A key report by the World Bank has outlined that the shortage of oil sector experts in relevant government entities, combined with inadequate human and capital resources, limits the country's ability to monitor, audit and enforce regulations on oil companies. It has therefore urged the oil-producing state to address this gap quickly in sectoral governance, or the consequences would be dire. Further to this, for the call for the relevant experts to put in place, the financial institution said the international experience of oil-producing states reveals that successfully managing the oil sector requires transparency and accountable implementation of robust policy and institutional framework composed of 5 core elements. These include, among others, policies, laws, and contractual arrangements that maximize the benefits of oil revenues and minimize downside risks, a set of regulatory institutions capable of effective oversight, and appropriate fiscal policies and sound public financial management infrastructure. In other news, after disappointing news that Guyana had been unable to secure 150 fishing licenses from the Surinamese government, the Upper Quarantine fisherfolk are hoping for a speedy resolution to the matter, which they say could negatively impact spending within their region. The Upper Quarantine fisherfolk are adamant that the failure to address the ongoing issues would see some 1,000 families being affected and the entire regional sector being jeopardized. Chairman of the Guyana National Fisherfolk Organization and the Upper Quarantine Fishermen Co-op Society, Parmeshwar Jainurain, said yesterday that the Berbice fishermen are disappointed and worried about not receiving the licenses, which are supposed to be available since January 1st of this year. He explained that the authorizations were supposed to help fishermen conduct their business in Suriname without the harassment that they have been facing from fishermen and maritime patrols in that country. However, he stated there is even more concern regarding the sector's survival. And moving on, PNCR stalwart Aubrey Compton Norton was on Wednesday elected leader of the opposition several months after he won the headship of his party, which gave him the mandate to take up the post previously held by Joseph Harmon. Norton's election has come 77 days after Harmon tendered his resignation with immediate effect in late January. After being appointed, Norton was also unopposed for the post of opposition leader and was bestowed with the position. Also appointed to the National Assembly yesterday was PNCR member Ms. Valda Lawrence, who is replacing former Education Minister Dr. Nicolette Henry. Henry submitted her resignation to the National Assembly on February 2nd during the 2022 budget debates. Her resignation was intended to pave way for the incoming opposition leader, but Harman too decided to part ways from the National Assembly, signaling his intent to resign on March 5th, with effect from March 15th. And now let's tell you, as Guyana continues to build the capacity to audit and verify expenses provided to the country for its oil and gas developments, civil society could play a major role in monitoring the government's response to handling multi-billion-dollar sums that are recoverable from Guyana's share of profit oil. A 2018 report from the British-founded Oxfam Confederation, which focuses on the alleviation of global poverty, provided that while many developing countries face great difficulty when dealing with oil companies, there are several basic questions citizens may ask of their governments to understand how they are managing costs audits. As part of a checklist, experts say citizens and civil society should pay attention to their government's legal right to audit cost and whether it is adequate and whether there is a clear, defined list of expenditures eligible for cost recovery and/or tax deduction. Citizens must know where the responsibility for cost auditing is assigned and the number of agencies involved. And moving on. A 19-year-old teacher was on Tuesday stabbed to death by her boyfriend at their Craig Eastbank Demerara home, police have confirmed. Dead is Shanice Walks of Craig Public Road. According to police reports, the alleged murder reportedly occurred between 15 hours 30 on Tuesday and 11 hours 45 on Wednesday. Reports are that the now dead woman and the suspect lived together. It was reported to police that they allegedly had a misunderstanding on Tuesday around 15 hours 30. The woman at the time, the police report stated, had armed herself with a knife when the suspect tried to take the knife from her and reportedly stabbed her to the left side of her neck. The suspect reportedly became afraid, secured the house, and went away. The 21-year-old suspect is currently in custody, assisting with the investigation. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We will resume after the break.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Guyana is now a full-fledged oil-producing nation. But how much do you know about this valuable yet finite resource? On our radio program, Guyana's Oil and You, we strike at the heart of every issue with informed views and credible data. The time is now for you to arm yourself with insightful knowledge on your oil wealth.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. After months of delay, the parliamentary committee set up to coordinate the much talked about constitutional reform process in Guyana is expected to proceed with its work. So said Attorney General Anil Nandlal. It is understood that the committee will meet early in the new week to discuss the work program. Nandlal said that the committee has already started to discuss and review work done in the previous cycles of the constitutional reform. He had previously announced that the process for constitutional reform will commence this year. He had explained that the process was stymied last year because of the coronavirus pandemic and a number of other matters. He nonetheless stressed that once the meeting is held, the process will begin to achieve momentum. And I quote, "We will have constitutional reform." In other news, despite strident objection from the APNU-AFC, the ruling PPPC on Wednesday used its one-seat majority to amend the standing orders, which deal with the quorum of the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee. The motion, which was moved by the Minister of Governance and Parliamentary Affairs and PPPC MP Gail Teixeira, received resounding support from the government side of the House. The previous quorum for a PSC meeting was 3 members, irrespective of party affiliation, but with the amendments, the meetings will not go forward without the government side or opposition present. In other news, a drinking session between two co-workers ended deadly on Wednesday after one allegedly fatally stabbed the other following an argument over a woman. The dead man has been identified as 29-year-old Roy Hari, a miner of Wauna, Mapuruma, Northwest District. The incident occurred at Reserve Barometer between 3 hours and 4 hours. Information received revealed that Hari and the 21-year-old suspect worked at the same mining camp. They were reportedly imbibing when they had a misunderstanding over a female acquaintance. Following the misunderstanding, reports are that the two left together for their mining camp and thereafter got into another argument, which resulted in the suspect allegedly assaulting the victim and stabbing him with a knife. The suspect was arrested and is in custody at the Barometer police station. In other news, after reporting its last COVID-19 death on March 15th, the Ministry of Health on Wednesday revealed that an unvaccinated 90-year-old woman from Region 4 is now the country's latest fatality. Guyana's COVID-19 death toll has moved to 1,227. Additionally, the ministry stated that within the last 24-hour period, they have recorded 9 new infections, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 63,349. With one patient admitted into the COVID-19 ICU, 7 persons are in institutional isolation, 90 are in home isolation, and 20 are in institutional quarantine. And coming from DPI, the Government of Guyana and the Canadian Commercial Corporation signed a Memorandum of Understanding on Tuesday to facilitate cooperation, participation in discussions, and exchange of information related to the procurement of Canadian goods and services. The memorandum was signed by the senior minister within the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, and Canada's Minister of Small Business, Export Promotion and International Trade, Mary. Minister Singh said that the initiative establishes a framework for which the two countries can strengthen their economic and commercial relations that will see more Canadians doing business in Guyana and Guyanese businesses investing in Canada. At this time, we move on to the page 7 of today's Kaieteur News that is dedicated to being blunt. Whether the decrease in construction materials. At the beginning of the year, government boasted about removing taxes on construction materials during the 2022 budget debates. Even though this promise was announced, the price tag on government projects remains shockingly high. As we continue to highlight weekly, shocking sums estimated to build new schools or repair current structures. It seems that the price has gone up rather than decreased. One may argue that shipping prices have impacted these materials, but the fact is that Guyana has its own sand, stone, and even cement, among other necessities. We believe that corruption is taking place in every sector of this country, at the behest of our dishonest leaders. They have encouraged the foreigners to come into our land and rob the Guyanese people of their wealth, as they themselves continue to do daily. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different